Did you know that in this physical world, the most devastating weapon isn't born from screaming or confrontation, but from a calculated silence that shatters the other person's mind from the inside out? Throughout your life, you've likely encountered two distinct types of people. First, there are those who constantly spew unsolicited opinions, argue over every minor detail, and broadcast every tiny achievement to anyone who will listen. And then, there are those who sit quietly in the corner of the room. They speak rarely, carry a subtle, unreadable smile, and possess eyes that actively analyze your every move. Their silent posture makes you instantly uncomfortable. You can't figure out what's going on inside their head, and that very uncertainty makes you feel vulnerable in their presence. Society conditions you to believe that being loud and expressive is a sign of strength. But in the dark underbelly of human psychology, silence is the most lethal control mechanism in existence. In this video, we are going to decode the dark psychology of silence. Why the most dangerous, calculated, and high-value individuals speak the least, and how their silence effortlessly hijacks the power dynamics of any room. But before we unlock the ultimate trap of this dark psychological force, we must confront an uncomfortable truth that will violently shake your ego. Human beings talk excessively to hide their weaknesses. When you overtalk in front of someone, on a subconscious level, you are begging for their validation. You are desperately trying to convince them that you are smart, important, or right. Dark psychologists and master manipulators refer to this as information bleeding. When you over-explain yourself, you aren't just revealing your strengths. You are serving your insecurities, vulnerabilities, and hidden motives on a silver platter. Dangerously silent individuals understand this with terrifying clarity. They know that in any interaction, the person who speaks first or talks too much surrenders their leverage. So, what is the supernatural power hidden within silence that dominates people on a psychological level? The first secret lies within the vacuum effect. The human mind simply cannot tolerate incomplete information. When a sudden silence falls between two people, an awkward, unbearable tension is born. Average people cannot handle this pressure, and in a desperate bid to fill the void, they start rambling, accidentally leaking secrets, lowering their prices, or making unnecessary concessions. Dangerous people use deliberate silence to engineer a psychological vacuum. They will ask a single, pointed question and then go completely cold. Their blank expression and uncomfortable pause trigger an internal panic in the other person. They start spiraling. Did I say something wrong? Are they unimpressed with me? And driven by that sheer anxiety, they blurt out the exact secrets they swore they would keep hidden. For centuries, books on strategic power and manipulation, like Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power, have laid this out explicitly. Law 4 states, always say less than necessary. When you speak less, the weight of every single word you utter multiplies by 1,000. When a person speaks 100 sentences a day, people naturally tune them out. But when a person who has been quiet all day finally opens their mouth, the entire room drops to a dead whisper. It is the fundamental rule of power dynamics. Scarcity creates value. The less your voice is heard, the more authoritative and heavy your words become. High-level negotiators, intelligence operatives, and master strategists use this exact tactic to claim the dominant alpha position without raising a finger. The second, far more dangerous aspect of this strategy is strategic unpredictability. In dark psychology, there is a core principle. Everyone fears the person whose next move cannot be predicted. When you react to every stimulus, screaming in anger, exploding with excitement, or getting visibly hurt by an insult, your mind becomes an open book. Everyone around you learns exactly which buttons to push to pull your strings. The very first step of psychological manipulation is mapping the target's emotional reactions. But an individual who maintains absolute silence offers zero emotional patterns. When insulted, they simply stare through you without a single flicker of emotion. This complete lack of reaction inflicts massive confusion and existential dread on the opponent. They have no idea when or where your counterattack is coming from, and that mounting dread forces them to back down. Now, let's peel back an even more calculated layer of this game, known as cold observation and cold reading. When you choose silence, your brain isn't wasting precious energy constructing responses. Your sensory perceptions go into hyperdrive. You begin mapping micro-expressions, shifts in vocal tonality, eye movements, and subtle body tremors. A loud person is trapped inside their own thoughts, but a silent person becomes a human radar. They immediately spot when someone is lying, where their hidden flaws lie, and what their deepest insecurity is. Dangerous individuals use this silent surveillance to build an exact psychological blueprint of the target. And when they finally choose to speak, a single sentence pierces straight through the target's ego. This core concept has been emphasized by Stoic philosophers and ancient martial strategists alike. Sun Tzu wrote in The Art of War that the supreme warrior is the one who breaks the enemy's mind without ever engaging in battle. Silence is an iron armor that no verbal bullet can penetrate. If someone launches an aggressive verbal attack to provoke you, and you stand there entirely calm, unbothered, and silent, you take their attack energy and reflect it right back at them. Your total lack of reaction renders their assault useless. Their anger and shouting end up making them look foolish and unhinged. In tactical psychology, this is called the mirror of silence, where the opponent's own toxicity bounces off you and crashes directly back into their own face. But brother, right here, a dark psychological paradox emerges that will alter your entire perspective. Is silence merely a tool to dominate others, or is it the ultimate shortcut to mastering your own mind? You probably notice that 90% of the time you speak out of raw anger, you end up regretting it later. Why? Because those words didn't come from your conscious awareness. They erupted from your bruised ego. A single sentence spoken during an emotional high can destroy years of built trust, wreck your reputation, and ruin your life's work in a fraction of a second. Dangerous individuals recognize that silence isn't just about controlling others, it is absolute self-mastery. They know how to suppress emotional impulses. They realize that not every statement requires a response, and sometimes letting someone run their mouth is the ultimate trap. So how can you execute the dark psychology of silence in your everyday life without coming across as a villain? Rule number 1. Practice the 3-second rule. Whenever someone asks you a question or finishes speaking in a conversation, do not jump in immediately. Pause, look directly at them, count 1, 2, 3 in your mind, and then deliver your response in a calm, low pitch. That 3-second delay instantly frames you as an authority figure. It signals that your words are measured and that you operate under no one else's pressure. Rule number 2. Stop over-explaining yourself. If you make a decision or give a firm no to a request, stop offering 10 different excuses to justify it. Simply say, "No, I can't do this," and go dead silent. When you offer excuses, you give the other person leverage to debate and negotiate with you. But when you deliver a silent, unwavering no, they are left with zero ground to stand on. Rule number 3, master the deadpan stare. When someone attempts to be rude, interrupts you, or directs unearned anger toward you, do not interrupt them. Let them finish. Keep your face entirely expressionless. Fix your gaze directly between their eyes. And after they finish venting, let a heavy silence hang in the air before asking a cold, "Are you done?" Then walk away without offering a single word of justification. Their mind will stay awake all night, agonizing over what they did wrong. However, brother, there is a far darker, more dangerous side to this psychology that you need to be warned about. What if someone is weaponizing the silent treatment and cold isolation against you, driving your mind into a downward spiral of anxiety and self-doubt? In the realm of manipulation, this is known as the ghosting weapon and narcissistic silent punishment, a tactic designed to strip away your voice and dismantle your mental peace. How do you spot this covert attack, break the silent trap, and flip the game entirely back onto the manipulator? This is the lethal psychological glitch we will decode in our next episode, The Narcissist's Silent Trap and Counterattacks. Subscribe to the channel right now and share this transmission with the friends who are bleeding their power by talking too much. See you in the next episode.